But if we can get a link to a sub-page, then we're even happier, okay? Because we already have tons, if you have a good strategy, you already have tons of links going to your home page. And getting links into your sub-pages and your landing pages is often something we're trying to accomplish. Comment on that?
Yeah, and Joe, you remember when we were doing the the
keyword research?
You remember how very few people had landing page results or page results, whether referring or links back to the page? What he just said is the reason why we can compete in some of those markets is because they're not doing that piece, and that piece is huge.
And so with that, the last thing I'm going to tell you is I'm just going to reiterate a site, prweb.com. I think with what I've told you, what press releases are and what they're not, and this little bit of instruction about making it newsworthy, right? So you're not writing a sales letter, you're actually just publishing some news. Okay, and so if you can think that way and get that right, and then you know your keywords, now you can go to prweb.com and they have an excellent training area. And at prweb.com they'll tell you the do's and the don'ts and common mistakes and how to submit and what people do wrong, etc., etc., etc. So rather than me spend hours and hours training you on that, they do a better job than I could do anyway. So with watching this video first and then going to prweb.com, they have a training available right there. And because I recommend using them anyway, it's a great resource to go to. And then as far as other resources, go to socialmarketingblackbox.com, and there you can sign up for a free membership, and you can watch additional training on not only press release marketing but all types of marketing. And we will create a book with additional training and instruction on press release marketing, including a list of all the places that you can submit to for free, including the list of where we'll submit to you if you're a paid member of the Social Marketing Black Box, those 18 sites and a variety of other things there. So if you're watching the video and you want more information, go to socialmarketingblackbox.com. Any other questions, comments about that? Okay, so let's talk about how often we're going to do press releases. If you've got a brand new site, let's say you're marketing your own site and you have very little capital, which is the case for most home marketers. They just don't have much money, but they can write. Anyone can write. Okay, hopefully within reason. But if you're at home and you're a marketer with no budget and you got a great idea but no money for it, what I would recommend that you do is try to do a press release weekly and just submit them to the free places. If weekly is too much for you, then try to do 2 a month. And if that's too much for you, do 1 a month. And that would be an absolute minimum. In conjunction with the rest of the marketing you have to be doing as a person with no budget, this would be a great way to look at it. Let's say you have a site that's making some money, okay? Maybe you're making a few $100 to $1,000 a month. What I'd recommend is that you do this $40 submission that I told you about at least once a month. And that you go back to this list here. So if that covers 1 week, and then if you can do 3 more free submissions, go ahead and do that. If not, I'd add 1 more so you've got 2. Or worst case, if that's all you do, hey, that's $40 well spent. Okay?
Dave, how do we find out where we can submit them for free?
We'll have that list. In our press release training in Social Marketing Black Box, we'll create a PDF that has a list of all of them. Okay? So for Social Marketing Black Box members, if you're a free member, we'll give you the list of the 18 sites. Just go do it yourself.
1 at a time?
One at a time.
18 sites?
On the 18 sites. If you're a paid member, send us the press release. We'll put it on all 18. Okay? And then for let's just call it an enterprise site. And if you are watching this video and you are an enterprise customer that's paying us by the month through your SEO, we're already doing this, so you don't need to worry about it. We do this entire process. But in that particular case, and here's what I do on my own site, so I'm not just making a recommendation that I'm guessing at or that I don't do myself. Okay, this is drinking my own Kool-Aid stuff here. This is what I do and what I recommend. is we get out at least one press release per week. We're doing 2 of the $40 submissions, and we're doing 1 $300 submission to PR Web. Now, if you're not a writer, just go to needanarticle.com or one of these writing sites. Go to Odesk or go to Elance or whatever your favorite outsourcing service is, and just simply hire someone. It shouldn't cost you more than $10 to have someone write your press release. And saying that, that's a worst case scenario. I would never outsource for $10 my $300 submission to PR Web. I write that myself. That's something that no one knows my business like I do. In the time I would take to explain it to somebody, I can write this stupid thing. It's 1 page. I mean, these are not rocket science. They're not very difficult to write. And so there's certain things in marketing that don't outsource well. And writing, unfortunately, is one of them. Now, plenty of people outsource all the writing. I outsource most of my writing now, but I'll tell you what, on my Facebook pages, almost everything that appears from admin is me personally. Every day I'm in Facebook on my pages responding to people myself. I've tried to farm it out several times, just no one does it the way I do it. And again, depending on the level of the person's at who's watching the video, again, they might be laughing at me saying I'm small time, but I haven't had much luck farming out higher level writing. Lower level writing, yes, absolutely. I don't write blog posts on my sites anymore. That type of stuff is all done by somebody else. But if you're going to spend $300 on a press release, make sure it's good. Make sure it's well written, it has a good story, that it's newsworthy. Go for the real ink. That's what you want to do here. You want to write something that's newsworthy enough, you might at least get some free press out of it somewhere and actually get real eyeballs on it. So those are the frequencies that I recommend. Once a month is an absolute minimum. If you don't have a press release going out at least once a month, and again, it's a minimum because it won't be that effective. For our enterprise clients, we have press releases going out every single week, always. It's just part of what we do. I even know of people in the industry who write multiple press releases per day, and the challenge I have with that is it's taking this strategy and making it more important than it really is. If you're going to be putting stuff out every day, there's a lot of places to be putting stuff. You got to be putting stuff on Twitter and on Facebook and on your blog. You got to be creating new pages on your site. There's so much content that has to be created to have a successful website that I wouldn't put that much energy into press releases. To me, these numbers are putting it in its place, and the links that we're getting back are working with this frequency, and it allows us enough time to do the rest of our strategy. And so these numbers I'm very confident in and have proven them on multiple websites, so I know that they work. I don't think you need more than that. You don't need more than 1 a week, in my opinion. And again, it would depend. Someone watching this video might be in a niche where they have tons of news. In that case, hey, do a bunch of press releases. It might be the press releases are much more important to them than they are to me, and my niche isn't on my websites. And so you've obviously got to take into account who you are, what your site is about, and just how newsworthy it really is before you make that decision. But I think for probably like 98% of websites, these numbers are correct. Any other comments, questions?
Rude remarks?
Yeah, even rude remarks are accepted. Okay, that's a wrap.